how do you put together an effective recruitment process when you're in a hurry? Because unless you're constantly recruiting as a business, you are not necessarily going to have your recruitment process nailed. Unless you've got a background in recruitment, it's never been your full-time job to do recruiting. It's been part of your job, sure, but it's never been your full-time job. You shouldn't expect yourself to know exactly how to run it the best way possible. Plus, your company's different, your team is different, not all processes should look the same. In the events industry, I tend to find that most roles are reactive. It's either, okay, someone's handed in their notice, so we need to fill that space on the team, or it's, we're going to go ahead and launch this thing and we're going to launch it now, so we need to find the right people to pull this off. So we have to act quickly the vast majority of the time when it comes to recruiting in the events industry. So yeah, if you're not constantly recruiting, if you haven't got your process nailed like the really big Goliaths of the industry, how do you really quickly put together a recruitment process? Because the issue with not doing this is that you end up just kind of having to wing it, and that, more often than not, ends up providing a terrible candidate experience. It drags out the process. Candidates are left waiting ages for feedback, waiting ages for interviews to get booked in, and at the moment in a lot of the market, candidates are interviewing for multiple places, so you end up missing out a lot of the time on candidates because other businesses, they either started earlier than you and therefore they were a bit further ahead in the process, or they have more efficient and more effective recruitment processes and therefore they're able to move people through the pipeline that much quicker. So how do you do it quickly? How do you put an effective recruitment process together quickly so that you can find the right person as quickly as you need them without rushing it, without missing out on people, and without it taking up too much of your time? There's an obvious answer, which just seems like I'm selling my services, which is go to a professional. But I don't want that to be the only thing I tell you. So the other option is spend just half an hour, if that. Remember back the last 5 or 10 hires, good hires that you made, and what process did that employee go through when they were the candidate? How many interview stages? How long between the interviews? How were they sourced? Did they come off of one of your own adverts? Did they come through a recruitment company? Was it an internal referral? Track back all the different routes in to your company that have been successful. Learn from the previous processes that you have run successfully for your business. It doesn't take long. If you're a big company, then look at the last 5 or 10 roles that are as close to the one that you need to recruit as possible. So if you need to hire a sales manager, look at other sales people you've brought in recently. If you need to hire a content person, look at your content people, marketing for marketing. What did the job description look like for that role? Was it generic? Was there a job description at all? Was the job description really tailored to that specific position? Look at all of the different aspects of those roles that you filled, and from there you can quickly build a framework for your current vacancy, and then for the love of biscuits, follow it. Build the process quickly. It's not going to be perfect, but you're in a hurry, so you need to accept that you're not going to get perfect. You need something that works. So that's the alternative to going out to a recruitment agency. If you do go to recruitment agencies, don't chuck them a PDF or a Word doc and just send them out, because they're not going to represent you or the vacancy in an accurate way. They're not going to be able to provide candidates with the experience you should want those candidates to have, because they're not fully in the loop. So you want recruiters who are invested in the process, and that's that. If you can go to a recruiter, find one, and I'll say it, preferably one recruiter, because if you go to multiple, they'll all just scratch around for the first few candidates that they can find, and then the longer the time that passes without them getting a candidate placed with you, the less effort they're going to put into that role, because the higher the chances that one of the other recruiters is going to fill it and not them, and they can't afford to work for nothing. So in an ideal world, if you've got the budget, it will save you a whole bunch of time, and you'll have a much more effective strategy and process being followed for this vacancy if you go to a specialist recruiter. Sorry for the pitch, but if you want to avoid that impact on your budget, or if you just don't have the budget for a third-party recruiter, look at your previous hires, spend an hour, build a framework for a process that has worked for you in the past, and then use it and follow it. And that's that. I've finished my walk now. I'm home. I'm home. See you later.